Hi everyone, this is my group and I's presentation on trophic cascades. The ecosystem that we're looking at is a coastal marine habitat, which is comprised of sea otters, sea urchins, kelp, and many other species. So the ecosystem itself is along the northern Pacific coastline, which includes California, Oregon, Washington, and Canada. It's known as an underwater rainforest made of kelp because the kelp can reach up to 262 feet in length, which provides lots of food and shelter for many species such as sea lions, whales, and any other species that live in this biodiverse area. The first trophic level we're going to look at, which is actually the third, is sea otters. Sea otters are a keystone species and a secondary consumer, which means they feed on species that feed on plants. Sea otters are beneficial to the ecological balance because they control the number of species populations in the area. In this case, sea urchins. Sea urchins are mainly eat kelp, so sea otters is maintaining sea urchins population, which is helping kelp grow. A new trophy cascade was actually discovered in Central California, where it was found that sea otters were feeding on crabs, and those crabs were feeding on sea slugs. The next trophy level is the second one, which is sea urchins. Sea urchins are a primary consumer, meaning that they directly feed on the plants, in this case, algae and kelp. They are omnivores because they eat the plants as well as dead and decaying animals. Um, they are consumers in a wide range of trophic levels because they eat many things and many things eat them. The sea urchin populations are on the rise due to the sea otters population going down. Sea otters are the main predator for sea urchins, so there's a good relationship between them in helping the kelp population. Speaking of kelp, they are on the bottom of the trophic level because their energy is the highest. They are primary consumers, meaning that they get nutrients directly from the sun through photosynthesis. Uh, and besides being consumed, they also provide a shelter for the sea lives and from being caught from predators and fishers in the area. So, how and why this cascade is happening? In the 1700s to the 1800s, sea otters were hunted for their fur. This decreased their population size. They also face problems today, such as oil spills and um, pollution in the water and the air. So this is happening because otters at the time, right now, are at the top of their food web in the ecosystem. As these problems in the world keep on occurring, you have things like sharks and orcas, as well as people hunting and fishing them still. Um, as the population of the sea otters were going down, the sea urchins were able to rapidly grow. Um, these rapid growth areas are now known as urchin barriers. In fact, one reef alone in Oregon counted 350 million purple sea urchins in the area. They also, the cascade is also being affected because of the sea urchin rise. The kelp population is going down. Kelp is a very important species in the area. With the decline of this, many species in the area are affected. And with the rise of sea urchins, sometimes there are very little to no kelp in the area remaining. In normal ecosystems, the healthy sea otter population will keep sea urchin population under control, which in return keeps the kelp population rising, which is very good for both the ecosystem and atmosphere by reducing the carbon emissions. Without the sea otters in the area, the ecosystem will essentially collapse due to the reduction of the kelp and any other plants in the area. So this is an example of top-down control. The sea otter population decreased due to hunting. This results in an increase in sea urchin population and a decrease in kelp. This is top-down control because the sea otter, the top of the food web, affected the bottom organism in the ecosystem. The removal of otters had large effects on other trophic levels in the area too, because one thing affects another. The reason why this is a problem now is because sea otters are still being affected through fishing, pollution, oil spills, etc., even though they were hunted a while ago. The species is still threatened as of 1977, but they continue being on the endangered species list as the populations are still declining. This is a major problem because the sea urchins will continue destroying kelp forests, which is a key fighter in reducing carbon emissions and which affects climate change. They also affect the ecosystems in the area because the kelp forest help fish populations and other prey hide from predators and the fishers. And here are our resources. Thank you for watching.